Welcome back to Morning Express. We're glad you're watching on this 9th day of March. It is now a few minutes past 7. For the next 1 hour on The Way It Is, we are focusing on some of those big stories we've been covering for you right here on KTN. You're reading about them as well in the papers, on radio, listening to analysis on them. But the panel is back this morning, joined also by 2 new members. Ambrose Wadada is here. Good to see you. It feels like a new year.
It is. It's like a new year. And good morning, viewers. I think, was it a good break?
We'll perhaps get a mention whether it was good or not. But you are well?
I'm well, because I have forgotten my phone. So those who are hearing, please bring it to the office.
Okay. All right. Opio Wandai is also with us. He's Ugunja Member of Parliament. He's also Secretary Political Affairs in the Orange Democratic Movement. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
You've been well?
Yes, so far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Martha Wangari, nominated Senator, also UDF National Treasurer. Habari?
Good morning.
It's good to have a lady with us on the
panel.
Thank you. Yeah?
Thanks for having me.
And Hassan Omar, Senator of Mombasa County and Secretary General Wiper. A new position, that one. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Sophia.
And so you ran a marathon, 2 kilometers. How many did you?
I did 10. In fact, when you were discussing the picture with Michael.
Yes.
And you saw that I was quite like I had not done anything. That's where my regret is. Actually, I should have gone 21. You imbibed. All my colleagues, Midewo, Wanyama, the rest of them went for the 21. So I really didn't. I wanted to be safe. I didn't want to say tomorrow that, look, Jubilee has just, killed me or something. so that's saying that I decided to go for the 10.
For 10.
And when I did it, we practice them every Tuesday and Wednesday as Parliament, every Tuesday and Thursday. So when I did the 10, I didn't really. I wished I had gone for the 21. That's the truth of the matter. Because I did the whole circuit non-stop. Only a small place where I was going uphill, and I felt I needed to conserve a bit of my energy for the final kick.
All right. Well, we're glad you participated.
But I saw none of you. I did expect weather, definitely. I know that he will say he was in charge or something. None of those people were there were also church lovers and churchgoers. But nonetheless, I hope he will be there in the 3rd edition.
In the 3rd edition.
Yeah,
and you've definitely seen those pictures, and the stories are in the Standard today. Do get yourself a copy. We also want you to engage with us as we get into the discussion this morning on The Way It Is. Of course, one of the stories we're beginning with this morning is on the Public Accounts Committee. It is what you ideally describe as the hunter becoming the hunted. It's a committee that's supposed to keep government, especially spending in check, taxpayers' money more specifically, and has been on the spotlight in the past couple of days. Ababu Namwamba, who's the chair, is talking now about a secret recording of a meeting in which the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who's also the ODM party leader, was present. That has caused a lot of tension within the party. So we are discussing that. And remember, ODM, or rather the PAC, that's the Public Accounts Committee, stands suspended. And we want to talk to us this morning in our question of the day. Do you think it should be disbanded? Do you think the Public Accounts Committee should be disbanded? And gentlemen, lady, we will begin on that very note of what's happening in the Public Accounts Committee. Why don't let me start off with you, your thoughts on this particular story, because first these allegations of corruption, and then a motion to find or seeking to find Ababu Namwamba, to throw him out in essence of chairmanship, no confidence. He managed to slightly escape that, and then now this recording.
In fact, I'm told, I hear rumors, you may confirm, and you,
I think
that when he went to the meeting where he was supposed to be removed, he told them, gentlemen, that's fine, it's okay. Begin the process. We want to see who throws the first stone, because I have this recording. And because they know each other, they know that it's a market where the highest bidder pays. Because they know each other, they were like, what do you mean? What do you have? Then to be safe, because Ababu said, who will throw the first stone? Then they said, okay, for now we preserve you. But it appears Ababu himself did not also talk to John Gidongo. Recording people is very dangerous the world over. You go to the Watergate scandal, you go to the White House, you come here. Now it emerges he has also recorded the party leader of CORD. So looking at it and the moral high ground that he has taken over the years, it would be in the interest of the great country of Kenya that he steps aside, leaves, and maybe yourself or senator there can come over and also posture.
It's in the Senate.
I'm in the
can't
Senate,
sit
and I'm
in
the
the park
deputy
of-
chairman of
He's my favorite future presidential candidate. So whenever there's an opportunity,
You want to propel him.
but I think Mheshimiwa, go and tell Ababu. I've seen that they always say that sometimes those who the gods want to destroy, they propel you so up, they open your mouth, they make you a bit mad, and then they bring you down. I think he's way down.
That is
and
what
he only needs Jesus now. Yes, he better go. He should leave.
Member of Parliament, he argues that first his woes originate from investigations into some 2.8 billion shillings of what is described as a confidential expenditure at the office of the president. He also points a finger at the majority leader in the National Assembly, that's Aden Duale. But he's now talking about this recording he made. He says it's really to exonerate himself, that if he's going to go down, at least truth will be told. What do you make of that?
Firstly, Sophia, PAC, as it were, is a really important committee of the House. It's one of the really most powerful committees of the House. Indeed, it is one of the two committees that are headed by opposition members of Parliament. But having said that, what we are hearing, of course, are allegations and counter-allegations of corruption. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that given the very critical role that PAC is supposed to play in safeguarding public interest, the mere fact that allegations of corruption have been made makes it untenable for PAC to continue the way it's currently constituted. But more importantly, PAC, like Caesar's wife, is supposed to be beyond reproach. Now we are caught in a very difficult situation, okay, as a house or as a parliament, in the sense that for the next 3 weeks or so, PAC will not be in operation, and that is very dangerous, very dangerous. So I hope that the committee of powers and privileges is going to expedite these investigations and really unearth the details, so that Kenyans get to know really what happened behind the scenes. We don't want at this particular moment to apportion blame, because we don't know really what transpired. But the recording in and of itself, as ODM, you are the political affairs chairperson, secretary, beg your pardon. What do you think of that? Firstly, I haven't really listened to the tape recording. Even without listening, the fact that he recorded it. Well, and secondly, Ababu has not come out to accept that he really did record the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. But if it is true, he did so. That will be unfortunate, of course. But then, having said that, I haven't also heard of anyone really trying to cast aspersions on the person of Raila Odinga from the tape recording itself. So, in essence, what's happening here is a question of people trying to divert attention from the real issues. We don't want the issue of PAC to be turned into an ODM affair or a COD affair or a JAP affair. He's a Secretary General of ODM. Some might say that would be difficult to separate the two. But your thoughts at the beginning there, you mentioned that you think the committee should be disbanded. Now, that should await the full report of the Committee on Power and Privileges. So the damage done, you feel it can still be salvaged despite the damage on this. It will depend on what is on earth, really. Yeah. All right, let's come to you, Wangai.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to first start by saying that Ababu is not just any other member of Parliament. And he's actually the Secretary General, the spokesperson, the mouthpiece of the largest party in the opposition coalition. And if
in the country, actually. Yes,
in the country. And if there is any committee that will gauge how the opposition is performing in Parliament, it is PAC and the sister in the Senate, which is headed by Senator Halwale, that is the County Public Accounts. The moment these two have been tainted, it cannot be redeemed. In fact, they should have gone like yesterday. They should have been disbanded, because it's very sad when I'm caught with something and then I tell you, you know what, even you ate. I think as a country, we have buried our moral. I ate 1 million, but you also ate 200,000. It is crazy. And I think yesterday we celebrated the International Women's Day. I think men in this country will finish this country with corruption. And I say that without shame. Because look at the way the corruption cases against women have been handled in this country. Look at Boss Cholet. There were allegations. What did we see? Look at Rebecca Nabutola. She actually went to committee. But there's a way of wiggling out for the men in this country. It is not only immoral, it should be ungodly. And I think PAC cannot have a future. It has to be disbanded with the entire membership for Kenyans to even have hope that it can be done.
Yeah, when you also have the Powers and Privileges Committee coming in to investigate, a parliamentary body as well, do you have confidence we'll have justice from that particular investigation?
I do not. In fact, I think we take graft allegations it's a five-letter word that simplifies graft allegations. I think it's okay for them to go through the process, but for me, the end should make sure that it is disbanded, because we cannot go on like that. We cannot go saying that the due process, then we reinstate them. It will be unfortunate, and it has also to be two-way, because corruption cannot be one way. If I got 2 million from someone, the source must also be a part of the deal. So we must have the balance that even the person who gave is as corrupt as the person who received.
Yeah. Senator?
I think I want to associate with the views of all my three counterparts. Ambrose talks about what were the dynamics leading to that whisker survival of Ababu. It's a committee of 26. 13 have voted against you. It's a committee. It's always desirable in committees of parliament to have consensus on any matter. Moving forward, internally, the working relationship of that committee is unimaginable. It's not going to be able to hack it. I sit in the PAC committee, the counterpart in the Senate. I'm the vice chair to Senator Halwale. She sits in the PAC committee. For she was one of those who strongly supported me for the position of vice chair. I think in almost all situations, we are unanimous on matters corruption. It cannot be that you have CORD on one side and Jubilee on another side on matters of corruption. You can have it on many other issues. And I think what has come out in the public media, I think that the Caesar's wife theory has literally been vanquished, and therefore it raises certain issues of integrity. And therefore, whether I agree with Opio, the Honorable Opio, that no matter the outcome of the investigations, I think Ababu has every legitimate right to clear himself of these allegations. Every legitimate right. It's due process, it's natural justice. And therefore, even in that event, I think he should take a bow from that committee. It should be reconstituted. That's my position. It's not a party position, but it is my position. And I believe that is the best way forward to salvage the work of that particular central committee.
And those who say he should also be stripped of his position as Secretary General in ODM, do you support that as well? By virtue of breach of trust?
Looking at myself in this regard, since I became, in an interim basis, Secretary General of Viper, I've sat in several meetings which discuss things of a very delicate nature. People have called me and told me all sorts of things. I shudder over the prospects that I will be working with a tape recorder. If that is true, that breaches confidence in the most extreme of manners. People will be reluctant to speak to you as a Secretary General, much in the same way people are reluctant to finally speak to Givongo. They do not know at what point he might be having a tape recorder in his
So you think
jacket.
he should lose that as well?
That is a matter that I think is neither here nor there. Whether
it is rather there.
It is disregard. I think the ODM membership will have to make that decision. But I know the opinions that are being held, that if he did, and I can tell you this, everybody says it very unequivocally, even those in the Wiper Party and Fort Kenya, the few I've spoken to. If he did indeed work with a tape recorder to record any conversations with any principal or any member, then I think they think that he must also bow down from that position.
For me, I would think they keep him. The truth is coming out. They have projected themselves over the last 2 years, how pious they are, how great they are, how Jubilee is corrupt, how they are thieves. Now it's emerging that the little task of checking government at PAC has fallen right in their hands through corruption, and then now they are also walking around with tape recorders. I would be glad if they retained him, so that when they talk, we tell them, remove the tape first.
I've had a very interesting conversation just
very
on that
briefly,
account. When some people say, oh, you see, we say look at what ODM is doing in CORD in its totality. And this ODM member said, actually, Ababu was your candidate. So don't go that direction. Otherwise, it will be a counter allegation.
Okay, does it get CORD and rather ODM to lose, if you like, moral ground when it comes to checking the government when its very own Secretary General is, being painted in bad light?
Firstly, Sophia, without really trying to defend corruption, it takes two to tango. And therefore, the matter of who actually gives out these bribes is also critical. And why are they giving it out? That really goes to the cracks of the matter. It seems it's a demonstration of the fact that real stealing is happening in government. And that's why they are willing to part with money to conceal the stealing. But having said that, I think the matter of ODM leadership, insofar as Honorable Ababu is concerned, will be determined in the aftermath of these investigations. I don't think it is right time for us to really make any judgment for now.
But I want to add something. Even as I talk about the person giving bribes, as we know the role of Parliament, especially the oversight role, and we have heard of rent seekers, it has been in the public domain. Some are even intimidated to actually part with money because whatever will happen, and you're threatened. The role of Parliament cannot now be tied again to what exactly is happening in the executive. The context must be very, be clear cut. If PAC is not able to offer leadership in the House, then I don't think we are doing anything on oversight. It has killed that responsibility, and the moment we are tainted as a Parliament, and now that takes us on board as we sit in county public accounts, even ourselves, we are very scared. If it happened in my committee, I'll be the first one to say it should be disbanded. The first one. Because we cannot redeem that whole image of Parliament if this does not happen. And Kenyans are watching. They expect to see not only just a suspension for 21 days, you only lose your allowances, then what? We want to see the result, even from the leadership of the House. Otherwise, then it will just be a rent-seeking Parliament like it has been labeled. And most of us who are there to actually represent and offer our services are bundled in that bandwagon. So it will actually be putting mud on our names. So I think even as the rules of natural justice take place, we must be very clear that that committee cannot stand. It must be disbanded now because it cannot.
Sophia, I wanted to just add something to what Martha is saying. I want to refer to the fact that I was when I was made Secretary General in an interim basis. I said there were two things. I said I will not run away from common sense. I will not run away from logic. And I think what I was trying to tell them is that I shall not defend the indefensible. And neither do I sometimes expect people to defend me when it's indefensible. What happens is, the truth is, and we all know it deep in our hearts, that if this matter turns out negatively, it will have a direct bearing on the ODM party and the CORD coalition. Let's not kid about it. And as Secretary General of one of the sister parties, I will have to state my position at that point in time. It's not going to work because we're supposed to be the vanguard of these principles of accountability. We're supposed to be the alternative government. And as much as we call on Uhuru Kenyatta, whenever there is issues to do with corruption, to sack people and to rearrange his house and to prosecute, I think it is not only on Uhuru Kenyatta. You must call yourself with the same levels of accountability. So therefore, if in case we first and foremost, I agree with Martha to that extent, where the composition of that committee is untenable. Opio, that's the truth of the matter. It cannot proceed in the manner it is constituted at this point in time.
He's being very careful this morning.
No, he's not careful. He said it actually. He said it very unequivocally. It is untenable. I think even we say it in our own boldly within our own corridors. Secondly, it's not in doubt. And I think we need to, we must also show that if there is any credible allegations which are substantiated, we must show that also we are able to shed our own blood. The same way we expect Uhuru to shed blood.
Okay,
on his
briefly,
part.
if and this is speculation, it is cleared by the Privileges and Powers Committee, what then?
I mean, most of those matters then are subject to further investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. They will have legal and criminal consequences. And they're not just things for paper that you will say that these allegations have been substantiated and expect Matemo to stop at that.
All right, Wanda, let me come to you with this before we move on to a different subject. Yes. Ababu has been quoted as having said in this whole matter, he has not had the support from Raila and Wetangula, as has been reported in the media, that they've been supporting him, and in fact Wetangula, whilst Raila was away, tried to marshal the numbers to get him the numbers he needed to ensure he's not kicked out. Yes. What do you think is going on in Baba's mind and as far as this is concerned?
Now, you see, Baba's choice was Zani. And I tell you that where we come from, where he comes from, there's always some silent saying that if you oppose Baba, somehow along the way, something bad will happen. So Ababu opposed Baba and forced Baba into giving him leadership. I think his time has now come. Now, I do not think that Baba himself would have given him more support, because he is, you know, the position of Secretary General. They can refuse their signature at the last minute, and you are done as a presidential candidate. And I hear rumors that the late Senator Kalonzo, Mutula Kalonzo, was one of the people who forced your presidential candidate to join court. So they are very keen about the Secretary General's position. You want to know somebody who is in your pocket, who is. Now, Ababu came out as a commander himself, some commander. But because of public pressure and the lawyer votes, he was brought in. Now that he has punctured himself, you know where you puncture? It's a tire, big tractor tire, which has now punctured itself. The last person who will come to save him is Baba himself.
So you're saying he still has a score to settle with Ababu, and he's not forgotten it?
Especially now that it has been said that he has a tape recording of Baba. And you don't know whether it is a tape recording when you are taking a little beer here and there and you are inebriated and you are talking freely, or you do not know. You know, you fear.
Point me.
I think that is too much conspiracy theory.
Let's hear from you.
You know, really, I need to correct this impression created by Ambrose that really that Baba supported Zani, or wanted Zani for that matter. The fact of the matter is that Baba had no particular interest in who becomes the SG of the party. But having said that,
many would disagree with that.
But having said that, really the question of whether Baba has supported Ababu or not on this matter of PAC can't arise. Why? Because once the party nominates its members to the various committees, the members are supposed to operate those committees independently. And therefore, there is no way somebody like Baba, who is actually outside parliament, can be expected to intervene.
But he's the party leaders, and parties have the power to recall their members in these committees. So you cannot again completely disassociate
that is correct. That is correct. But in the context of supporting Ababu from the onslaught from his members, really, how would Baba come in? That's the question.
There's no way Baba comes in, Wangari?
I think Raila is actually in a catch-22 place. He really doesn't know how to behave. And I want to confirm, I've not had a relationship with Baba. I don't know whether what you say for what he's saying is true. But I think from what was in the public domain, there was of course a lot of mistrust between him and Baba. Initially it started very well. I remember
him being Ababu, for those who are just joining us. Yes.
I remember his swearing in after 2002 elections. I still remember it. Because there was this young man who came and actually disregarded the name of the president and swore by the name of the guy who was defeated. They started pretty well. But along the way, I think the relationship went down, went south. And from what we read in the media, I want to agree with Ambrose that there has been a lot of bad blood. And the enemy of your enemy is your friend. I think that is the mantle, that if someone else is helping you fight your enemy, then why do you need to help them? I think he's using exactly that he doesn't need to touch it.
Yeah.
And again, it will be a direct dent on him as a CORD leader. Specifically because this is a sec-gen of his party, and a sec-gen that was acrimonious, a position that was done in a very acrimonious way. At least we know Senator Hassan's was not contested. We've not seen anything in the media. But we know what happened with the installation of Ababu, even from his own backyard.
Yeah, it finally became a list that was drawn in Naivasha. Yeah.
So that is also expected that he would rather keep off than touch it and it burns him now.
Okay.
You know, one of the things is just to try and contextualize where does conspiratorial theory is that sometimes, let's say if I came today and told you, Sophia, something really bad, and then by some destiny, you walk out and something happens. People say, you know, Hassan told her. So it is likely that it is going to be connected to you. Every other person who's had a public altercation with you will be a first suspect in any particular situation where, like when Mushai was murdered in a gruesome manner, all fingers we know started pointing to a certain trade union. So these are some of the issues. So what has happened, I have a feeling that this yes will be connected, his downfall will be connected to Baba in one particular way. But you have to realize that once they went and arrived to a compromise and decided to have a team, it was full faith. Ababu was given an unqualified platform during Kajwang's funeral, during Baba's own son's funeral. He took the bull by its horn. He went in with the security laws amendment. So there was a process of redemption where confidence was rebuilt. And I can tell you this for free. I remember I had a small discussion with Baba during the time of the security laws amendment, and he says he's been energized by the zeal Ababu Mbadi had taken up the position of their respective positions. So I think when this unfortunate thing happens, I myself do not believe that Baba is the one necessarily escalating it, but his allies who are never comfortable, and I know a lot of his allies in the party, and we cannot deny this fact, will want him out. That is not even in doubt. And I think they will use this opportunity to be the moral anchor for their cause in terms of, witch hunting Ababu or whatever it is to put Ababu to his place.